Hello there, guys. One of these days that I could have done with my head being in a bit of a different zone today, but today is the general election. So basically, we the people go out and we vote for those who are running for election to be our local constituencies, members of parliament. Currently here at the moment, in fact, I've got one more on the floor. Let me quickly go and grab it. I've got one more on the floor. So here in Portsmouth at the moment, our MP is Stephen Morgan, and Stephen Morgan is a Labour MP. Then we have a vote for Jo Swindon, who is actually the leader of the Liberal Democrats. And I'll be talking to Jo later, because I have a feeling Jo might get quite a lot of the votes in this area, which means we will come under more. We already are pretty much under Liberal Democrats with our Conservatives here anyway. But my point is, Donald Jones for Conservatives, and I think there's another one here. What's he running for? Lib Dems. So basically the main, obviously we've got the Green Party, Independents, but the main obviously is Labour, Conservative and Liberal Dems. No party represents the mass of the people in the UK. And it's really difficult because I'm gagged. If I wasn't gagged, I would love to be on radio shows talking about this, pushing for why we should be pushing our government to abolish parties. And we do need to abolish parties. It's a must, because we should just have, if you want to call it the Prime Minister, then we should just have the main one person who oversees, and then they should all have equal positions, and they shouldn't represent a party. It should represent a core manifesto that we the people come together under assembly. So this is where I do agree with XR, even though XR is the release of the One World Order, but this is where I do agree with XR. I agree with XR with the assemblies, and we should be now saying, okay, these are the people that we agree with. Like, I quite like Stephen Morgan, but I don't agree with Labour, and I quite like Jo, but I don't agree with Liberal Democrats. And I don't understand why these people can't all come together, yes, to be people here that want to get out to the people of Portsmouth, and together they should be able to do it the same way we used to do it at school, you know, where we'd have a form captain and then the vice captain, the same as having the, you know, we used to have prefects, wasn't it? So basically they're the prefects of me here in Portsmouth, wherever you are here. So, but once all of these people have been elected, unfortunately, we haven't got the software that David used to use because it was so expensive to do. So literally, as soon as they were all called in, I would then send out an email that goes out to all 646 MPs, I think there are. I think that's how many positions there are. And then it would go out to all the mainframes of the media. And obviously I can't do that at the moment, which is really fucking annoying. It was amazing software. If we can get that back, that would be great. But look at this, right? This is how much they don't know their people. Take a look at Jo's. Sorry, is this Jo's? Yeah, this is Jo's. So basically, Jo, hello there, Kelly. Oh my word. You're still in court. Wow, hello there. I'm actually heading down your way soon. And I hope you have your children. I see your name's changed if that's a marriage. So basically, she's going for free childcare, which is good. And she's going for transformation of the mental health. But if you look at Donna Jones is all about, she wants 200 more police on the streets, quicker appointments at GP, and that's great. And then she wants to get involved with the 33 freights, which is something to do with our armed forces here. That's not good enough. These people cannot represent the whole core of the UK, and it's fucking shit. I've been sitting here today because obviously tomorrow is the anniversary of Aaron and Faith's kidnap, and I'm going to bounce off the energy of it tomorrow to do a video about what they're doing. My little MP, or people who want to run as MPs, they are not knocking on our doors going, hi, I feel that I can be a great voice in our community. Can we have a chat? Can we sit down? Can I find out what your lifestyle's like, how it is, how you feel about things, what you want in the areas? You know, we should be coming together as communities going, well, okay, we've got an alley down the road. It's a bit dark. We've got high crime there. We need to make sure there's some lighting there. These are the things that we need to be responsible for. And we do, because if you don't vote, and they're trying to take voting system away from us, guys. They want this voting system away from us. And we've got to keep this voting system, because otherwise we'll just be locked down and it will be just a mainframe structure and we will exist underneath that structure. Agenda 21 is going to be rolling out over this over in 2020, whether you like it or not. It's here, and it's here to stay until we wake up and accept that what they concluded back then was very nasty. You've got to remember that the elite schooling teaches that children are tumours, children are cancer, children are vermin, and that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So if you're a low-life parent, then you're going to have a low-life child. And that is the mentality that they have. If you watch women, let's take Jo Swinton as an example, who is, and I'm going to challenge Jo Swinton because I'm going to send this to her. So, Jo Swindon, I'm going to challenge you, being that it's Christmas, to come and get your nails dirty, love. Yeah, to put your baby down with your childminder and your nanny, because you clearly don't look after your kid. Yeah, your child is going to be raised by the state because you're a working mother. But let's just take Jo Swanson for an example. Very glamorous woman. Now let's get her down on the streets. Let's get her out at Christmas, coming down to the food banks here at King's Church. Let's get her sitting down with somebody who's drunk, somebody who's covered in urine, somebody who's just vomited on themselves, who's slightly intoxicated and probably maybe cracked out of their heads. You know, get her to come and sit down next to them. Get her to come and understand their stories. Get her to understand why they're there. And I guarantee you, once she starts asking questions to people who are living on the streets, she will find that people have been sexually abused in foster care, that they were beaten and they were runaways from their own families and didn't know where else to go because they were being abused in care. Some people end up on the streets because they were high professors. She will find a lot of people, high intelligence, high intelligence on the streets. Lots of people are born into the Houses of Lords, not the Houses of Commons, who don't want the aristocrat life, and they do. They come down onto the streets. You'll find professors who have been, I think one of my kids is coming through. You'll find professors who have, been so core in their work that it consumes them, that one day they just hit the bottle and they never come back from it. No person who puts on a suit is a real person, because they are putting on an identity, they are putting on an ego, they are putting on a persona. Even Frederick's just put, he's just voted Brexit Party. Fantastic, amazing. And once Brexit's done, then what? What's the party going to do then? Are they there for the roads? Are they going to be sweeping the roads? Are they going to be keeping the toilets clean? Are they going to be thinking about how we're going to be working on our NHS? We need pieces of the puzzle. Yeah, we need these people. We do. We need somebody who goes, I'm going to get up every day but to make sure that Great Britain is clean. I want to make sure that every town and every city is litter free, that we have beautiful parks that are kept clean and maintained clean. And we're going to, every city and every town is going to need so many people who want to serve to clean our streets, because I'm sorry, I don't want to go out to shitty, horrible streets and litter everywhere. When I moved to Wales, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how much crap was down all the rivers and how much shit was everywhere, and that they didn't have the street cleaners. Yet when I went to, when I got fucked over for that van, and I went to, where did I go? Chelmsford, I think it was. And I got off the bus at about 5 o'clock in the morning with Elijah and Shiloh. And we just walked around the streets. The kids were asleep in the buggy. We just walked around the streets, waiting for the cafe to open. And all the street cleaners were out. Like, literally, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. All the streets, they'd jet washed absolutely everything. They jet washed all the statues. They jet washed all the roads, all the front shops of the things. They'd been out cleaning all of the fronts of the shops. And then by 7 o'clock, they were gone. And that was it. They were gone. There has to be somebody who literally sits over the core of the whole of the dynamics of the UK. But we are a diverse country. We are not a white British whatever, but we're heading, there's all these different labels, and it's left, right, conservative, liberal, Labour, communists, and all of this sort of stuff. But when you look at the rest of the world, what it is that I'm trying to prove to people is you're free to make your own decisions. You're free to live your life the way that you choose to live it. You're free to be wherever you want to be. You're free to live in the house that you want to have. You can have the car that you want to have. You can wear the clothes that you want to wear. You can spend your time doing the things that you want to do. It's just that we've lived under this agenda that's been coming in for so long that has had this plan, and this plan was to depopulise and get rid of the shit. So basically for the strong to come through. But that the difficulty with that is you can't put people through an education system and force them into a box that is not conducive with who they are, and then wonder why we've got so much mental health, why people are depressed, why people are suicidal. You know, I showed you on my live last night that I got all of this paperwork, and I was just chatting to my neighbour who said that she had the bailiffs coming to her door yesterday for council tax from a previous property. And she's shitting herself because she's saying, well, if I even set up a direct debit, I'm going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul to keep it going. But if I don't deal with it, then the harsh reality is they can throw her in jail. And she, of course, she doesn't want to go to jail. And at the end of the day, we do live in a capitalistic society, and to some people everything is about money, and it's about assets, and it's about what you can accumulate. It's like the game of Monopoly. You know, can you get into the little car as a person, but you got to go and get your driving license to get into your car first. I'm surprised they don't put that on the board first. You know, pass your theory test first. So actually you've got a great game of life first. You know, so you've got to go to school, you've got to get your GCSEs, you know, you got to go to college to broaden your horizons, and then you've got to go to university to narrow down to see exactly what niche you're going to go into. I spoke to a young lad who's studying property development. He's got his little briefcase, and you know, he's going to develop property, but that's about money. Again, most of the people who are running as MPs, it's not who they are. Listen, I mean, this one, her only hobby is running. So when she writes her, I needed all this done, but trying to explain foundations and fundamentals to Amber, if she doesn't understand what the foundations and fundamentals are, is a bit difficult, and that's not her fault. But, you know, when she wrote up her who is she and what's she about, the only hobby she has is running. And obviously she's got a 6-month-old baby, and she's going to find out that it's not as easy once baby's crawling around and working. And this is why I'm going to push more for this woman, because she's the head of the Liberal Democrats, and Jenny actually just lives there. So she's about a stone throw from. She's got the nice big house. I know you can tell it's hers as well because it's got the big vote for Donna, not Donna, for Joe on the front. And I have actually sort of been and said hello. So, but this is what it's all about at the end of the day. Look, she's on about free education. So basically, these children have been dumped in a nursery so mum and dad can go to work or sit and watch Jeremy Kyle all day on the reruns. But it shouldn't be that way. Our families shouldn't be separated like that. The party that we should be voting for is the family party, because it doesn't matter if you're a single person, you're still a family member. We need to bring society back to Nan, being the nan to the grandchildren, and aunties and uncles being aunties and uncles, and cousins taking their cousins out on the park and things like that. But we've got to get back to the complete cause of the human being, and this is why no party will ever represent the mass, and no person will ever represent the full cycle that is needed, which means us as a country is basically driving with a flat tire. So we can't really do anything because it's not holistic, it's not whole, and we are all just living to be part of what we could be, if that makes sense. We have as humans, we have basic fundamental needs. We need certainty, so we want the shelter. We need to know that we've got somewhere that we can leave our bags and make our beds and put our clothes and put our nice little things around and build some form of cozy home for us. We need that level of certainty, but we weren't meant to live literally going to work every month to be able to pay. And people don't realize you could do one thing that buys all of this stuff outright if you just live purposely driven, because that's your payday. Your payday is your lifestyle and pays for your entire. We all need variety. We all want something that's changeable. Nobody wants to get up every day for 25 years doing the same thing over and over. I could not imagine getting up and at 7:30 every morning and going down to my local factory and literally just sitting there doing a monotonous job until 4 or 5 o'clock, going home, making tea, putting the telly on, going to sleep, getting up in the morning to go and do my monotonous job, and then get up and do the same thing the next day. And hello, it's the weekend, let's go get pissed because we've been so frustrated from having to do this minutiae job. But there are people out there that is their purpose, and that's what they love to do. And we should never have a go at somebody for what they are great at. If somebody wants to clean the streets, that is an honourable, humble thing, because people wake up in the morning and want streets cleaned. It doesn't mean that, caring, to be a carer is an amazing job. You are giving service. You are giving somebody a new lease of life, because if it wasn't for you, they might not even be able to get out of their front door that day. And this is the problem with perfect people like this, who don't understand what it's like to need something and have to, and yeah, it's all well and good. Whoever gets in is going to get a 60 grand salary. Hence why I said 60 grand in the media, because I was always going to run as an MP into a 60 grand salary. There was a ploy behind that. But obviously the Daily Mail decided to change it into something else. But if I said to Joe, yeah, how would you feel knowing you've got 2 nappies left and your baby's milk's running out? You can turn around and say, well, don't have kids then. But what if you have a family? And what if you have a beautiful home and you have the cars, and then one day you have Brexit coming in and you walk into your job and your company, like Woolworths, which is coming back, or Mothercare, or any of these big companies, that all of a sudden you walk into your job and they say, can you come here a minute? And they say, we've got to let 50 people go, and you're one of them. So you then got to go home to your wife or your husband and say, I've lost my job. And that's all well and good. But you got bills coming out. They might give you a severance pay. You might have a good amount of money to keep you going over 2 or 3 months. But the majority of people live hand to mouth. The majority of people have a money come in monthly, and then they distribute that to their bills. And this is where we need to make these people realize that they live in a mortgaged property, and they have, why are we paying 2 water bills? Why are we paying an exit and an entrance? One water bill. Simple as that. And yes, I do agree we should be paying towards the water, because yet that's another job that I don't want to do. I remember going and picking my gross, horrible step grandfather up, who was raping his son and daughter, which caused the hemorrhage on me with him, abusing me. But I remember going and picking him up from work at the water board, and it used to reek of shit. Literally, there would be this big tank full of all of our poo and all of our waste that had been flushed out the toilet. And they have machines that clean it, but those machines have got to be managed by someone, and they've got to go and stand there all day and smell the shit that we poo down our toilets and clean it. Yeah. I don't want to wake up in the morning and go, hey, honey, we need a shower today. Can you go down to the sea? There's your 8 buckets to walk down to our sea today and come back, and I'm going to plummet it and try and clean this water. There are people who get up in the morning to go and keep our water clean because it's not clean. Our water here in the UK is not clean. The water that we're drinking from our taps is shit. And that's what I'm saying. It's all well and good saying, hey, let's have free nursery so mothers can go to work. It's all great to say, let's put 200 police officers on the streets, but you can't do that. All these people should be saying is, I am willing to be a voice. I will be represented, and then I'm going to come around to every person in my city. I'm going to ask you all to meet me at the town hall, and we're going to sit down as a collective and work out what the fuck's going on, what's working, what's not working, what is it that the local people want, what is it that the people don't want. It's like, take the ice rink for an example. Last year we had the ice rink outside Portsmouth. It didn't have a cover. It was just the ice rink where you walked in, but the actual ice rink was open. That's pointless in a place like Portsmouth. It fucking rains. This year they've got a new company in that's got a canopy. I spoke to them last night about building, putting the stuff in it and having it for New Year's. They'll probably run off with my idea, that I'm used to that. But, it's a great idea, and the people would love that because it closes at 8 o'clock. So why on New Year's can we not have it open and have a New Year's party? I need to make money. I need to work. And it's as simple as that. Why do we need money? Well, that's one thing they should be talking about. Yeah. Every MP should have a core, like in the education system. In the education, there's a core, isn't there? Maths, English, science. That is your main actual core, maths, English, and science. If you go to a school that's not teaching maths, English, and science, then you're not giving basic fundamentals. The majority of children just need physical education. They need healthy food. Every single person running for MP should have a basic core manifesto, and that is to make sure that every single person in their area is happy, healthy, and thriving. That is their agenda. That should be their agenda. So that vote should be saying, I am here to make sure that everybody in my area is happy, healthy, and thriving and living their lives to their fullest potential. In order to do this, then we need to make sure that there are sports and societies and activities in our area that cater for the needs of the people around. Do we have artists? Do we have musicians? Do we have painters? Do we have sculptors? Do we have, what do we have? What is it that people want to do? Hence why we have universities. But those universities should be open permanently for adult education lessons, for, the schools using. There's lots of more things that they could be doing. What our Prime Minister needs to be doing now is resetting. He needs to be getting us to reset. The fact that our lives exist April to April is a flaw immediately. We should be January to January. Simple as that. January to January. That's when it should be done. January should be the new year. We start again fresh for the new year. Yeah. What is the point of then going through to April? Because it's confusing. People who get benefits, yeah, you should be paid on the 1st of the month. Every single person. It doesn't matter when you apply for your benefits. It doesn't matter what day. The payment should be on the 1st of the month. You pay your bills on the 1st of the month. You continue for your budget for the rest of the month. Simple as that. All this confusion, we are naturally aligned human beings, not doings, beings. We need structure around us, because otherwise we would just We just wouldn't exist. The worst thing to do is live dead. Very few people live their actual lives. And I find this really frustrating because I'm one of those people right now who is not getting up every day to do what she loves and is struggling with that routine because I am so out of frequency. Because one, I'm paid on the 18th. So now I'm sitting here, my car's due for MOT tomorrow. I'm having to wait until the 18th. I'm about to run out of nappies again. I think I've got about 6. I've just got sugar from next door. Should I be eating sugar? Should it even be part of my priority? No, but I have sugar in my coffee. You know, we've got Christmas coming up. You know, this whole, we should be restoring everything. We as a British society should be going, well, actually, I do want to work. But you know, we should be working for a decent wage. You know, we should be £10 minimum hour, £10 minimum, £10 minimum for an hour. You know, but if you don't want minimum wage, then don't have minimum skills. We should be sculpting ourselves. We should be developing ourselves. You know, an elite athlete doesn't become an elite athlete by waking up in the morning and going, I'm an elite athlete. That's who I am and that's what I do. They have to get up every day. And to be an elite athlete, they have to have been a failed athlete. They have had to get up and lost. They've got to have got up and not wanted to train that day and got up and pushed themselves each day to sculpt. So eventually they become the elite athlete. But the challenge that the crack book's done is crack books sort of turn us into a very jealous culture. You see nice little pictures of people having lots of nice homes, and it makes you feel like you can't do that. That's for other people. And that's what this Houses of Commons and the Houses of Lords does. And it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be separated into these upper, middle, and lower classes. I'm sorry, but I'm not lower class. I'm not middle class. And I'm not upper class. I'm just a mum doing her fucking damn best. I'm not liberal. I'm not conservative. I'm not Labour. I'm just a mum who wants to do the best for her children and wants to find a way with my physical condition, with dealing with my grief on a daily basis, with dealing with my anger. And I have anger. I'm not saying I don't have anger. I get very frustrated. The more I see more children being abused in this care system, I get angry. The more I see people who, and I'm not talking about the people now who shouldn't have their kids taken. I'm talking about the people who cannot accept that in domestic violence, taking drugs, drinking, neglecting your child because you're watching TV all day and you're not actually sitting down and doing reading and writing and drawing, and you know, because you've never been taught parent. But if we had frontline social workers, if we actually had family support workers who were at the children's centres where people could come in there, and we weren't coming from this dogmatic, no, you smoke the joint tonight. Oh, you have a drink. Oh, you go out on a Saturday night and you take coke. Oh, you were sexually abused. Oh, your fella beat you. You know, we shouldn't have that attitude. It should be coming from a kind, compassionate attitude. People can't change overnight. The decision to change comes overnight, but things take time. If I said, this is actually tea and it's gone, and I don't like tea, but I'm out of coffee. If I said, I don't want to be drinking coffee because it's not good for me, tomorrow I'm probably going to get up and have a coffee because it's an addiction. But we're not taught this stuff. And this is what is annoying me. We need coaches running this fucking world. We really do. These people will have coaches, by the way. But it needs to come back to the basic human being, the fact that we all want connection. So we all want to be, you know, to have love and connection. We all want to have the partner who loves and adores us, and we love and adore our partner, and that trust and that relationship and that companionship. And we need that. We actually need it. The reason that we were meant to be 2 by 2 is because we can't do everything. We can do more together than we can apart. You know, we all want a functional family. We all want to know we can turn to our mums and our dads. But unfortunately, our mums and dads will fail just as much as we are, and how much we're going to fail the next generation. And we are failing the next generation. We are. And we've failed this generation here. We were failed. They were failed. But we've not long come out of a war. And it's not that long ago. It really isn't. It's not that long ago at all that things were bombed and redoing and stuff like that. You can't reset Britain without getting everybody on the same page, which is why we need a leader who is inspiring, enabling, and he was motivating the people to come out and come together, which we should be doing over Christmas. We should be using the Christmas time to, you know, MPs could be knocking on and coming into people's doors and, you know, coming to see people when they're at home and things like that. They could be. So yeah, my vote, as you know, is a vote of no confidence, because I don't have confidence in any party. And if you don't vote, then you give the people who are currently in party the power. We have to grab hold of our MPs. We have to. As soon as they're in now, away from this as a collective of Great Britain, but just as parents that are under social services or vulnerable to social services, or have had their children taken by social services, or feel that they need some form of help right now. I would love to get an advocate in to help me with all of my paperwork. I would love to get a solicitor to deal with all of my court stuff. I would love to go to the police and sort things out. But the reality is their system is fucked. It is fucked. It needs everything, needs reforming, everything. Do you think it's right to take a young kid who's been in foster care, who's out on the streets, who's gone to the shop, starving, fucking starving, too scared to go up to the food banks or the homeless place because he's already had the shit kicked out of him in the doorway, you know, and he just wants some food, and he steals a pork pie. And he's 9 months in prison, which changes this person. This is a true story, by the way. It's Dean, you know, who, you know, is that the right thing to do to somebody who's had to run away from foster care as a kid because the care home keeps wanting to stick their dicks up children's asses, and he's having to keep hopping out the window to make sure it's not him tonight, worrying about the people that are going through it? And then we want to take this kid and we want to go and throw them into a prison because they stole a pork pie to eat. You know, in Egypt, the kids sit on the streets. In India, the kids sit on the streets begging for food. We shouldn't have this. The only reason we have this is because we have this House of Commons and the Houses of Lords, and the rich people telling the middle class people what to do, and the middle class people telling the slaves what to do. We're all slaves, which is why these people are a waste of time. Absolute waste of time. They will do a revote. Everybody will step forward. They'll all go into the Houses of Parliament, but it is up to us. It's up to us to get out there and go, we got people living on our streets. We got people living out in the cold. We got kids out on the streets bored. This is not the way to live. Putting people in FEMA camps is not the way to live. To have control over somebody's life is not the way to live. This multi-agency stuff and the way that they're working, criminalizing people with mental health. The mental health system is flawed because they're criminalizing people. You're mad. You're crazy. Sorry, you're feeling a bit shit today because you know you've been going and doing a job for 6-7 years that's completely drained you. That's completely, you don't even want to be around the people that are around, because you might be going and being a teacher at a school because your mummy wanted you to be a teacher, but actually you want to go and teach dance. Well, go teach dance. You know, it really is that fucking simple. It really is just the steps and stages in between where you are and where you want to be. But what we're not taught is emotional intelligence. And we're never taught this. Our parents don't teach it. School doesn't teach it. And we're expected to get up every day. The weather's gloomy. we're expected to wake up with a happy, smiley face and go, yay, all the trees have got water today, the rivers are full. Wow, isn't Mother Earth amazing? No, it's fucking cold, it's miserable. Everybody wants to grab a blanket and just curl up and sit by a fireplace. And if you wanted to do that, you could, because there are ways to make money in other ways that work online. But we don't go into the education system with people or your parents finding out who you are, what you're about. As soon as a child gets up and is fidgety and doesn't want to sit on a chair, fuck me, you got ADHD, girl, you know, you're hyperactive. No, he just doesn't want to sit down on a chair, and he probably wants to go and play football for 20 minutes. And actually, you know, you've gone from playtime where you can go out and maybe have a variety of these things that you want to do, and you can go and play a football, and then all of a sudden you're going into this workforce where no, you've got to sit down and do as you're told. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. And I just think it's crazy now, because right now, my dad's always said, don't talk about politics and religion. But when I realise that all of these decisions that are being made by these people are affecting us in such a way that I've never, ever in my life, ever feared being arrested. I've never in my life ever feared having my children taken off of me, because in my world that didn't exist. I didn't see that stuff. I didn't hear about that stuff. It was only when my friend's daughter was taken and I'm going, why? And they're going, well, she was, the police were called to a domestic, they took the baby, and I'm going, but why is the baby being adopted? Is she not fighting for them? Is she not? And that was the question that I asked myself. Why are parents not fighting for their kids? And I hate that word fighting, but why are parents not doing something? Until I found myself in that situation. And I realized it's not that parents are not doing something, it's that they're on a hide into nowhere. And the way that these reports are written about people, they're not interested in you as a person. They're not interested in your personality. They're interested in your weeds. They want to know what weed you've got, what influence you're going to have on your kids, and whether or not they can put them with a family that's not going to create kids going to prison. And that's really horrible, because that's eugenics. That's taking people and thinking you can change them by putting them in different soil, and that doesn't work, because we as human beings want and crave our dads and our mums. And it doesn't matter whether dad says that your dad's a deadbeat, or your dad says your mum's mad and mental. Your kids don't see that. Your kids just see somebody that they love and adore. And even if dad goes or mum goes, or there's a big argument, or even a mum who might lose it, that child still loves that mum, and that child still loves that dad. And what Agenda 21 has done already is alienated, because why do most people need social services? Well, most people need social services because they don't have family support. That is the reality. They would not turn to social services if they had mums, dads, uncles, aunts, and cousins. No person would struggle in marriages and relationships, even if it comes to an oops upside the head, if we actually had a system that supported keeping couples together and helping them through their problems. We live in a society that the moment it's broken, it's dumped. You can't do that to a human being. Everybody has another chance. I have seen people who have been on a daily heroin. I have to be careful with this crack and crack and smack, because I don't actually know the difference, because I think because it's not something obviously Stephen, but I didn't know anything about it. It was just heroin and methadone, and I didn't see it. He never took it in front of me. I just knew that something was going on. I didn't know what was going on. So I don't really know that world, because other than watching Trainspotting and seeing somebody going down a toilet and feeling very, very sick, that's what I thought a squat was. You should have seen it when I finally went to a squat, and it was really lovely. But the fact is that if they weren't running this world the way that they're running it, and it's not It's not government. It's not RMP. RMP doesn't have the power. You know, you're talking about a very small core of people who pretty much run this entire world, and then they go and sit in the United Nations, and then they sit in these EU things, and they make the decisions for us, and they decide what we can and can't do. If I want to drive from here all the way to Preston right now, I've got two choices. I can go through the toll road or I don't, and I can choose. But if they shut down the non-toll road, then I have to go through the toll road. So it's up to us all to decide the level of that toll road and whether there should be two or whether or not we should have to be forced to pay. It's exactly the same as our council tax. Yeah, that council tax that we're paying pays for the police, pays for the adult education, and pays for, so hang on, so police, your national insurance pays for the NHS, so it's not the NHS, adult social care, and something else. The education system pays for the education. There's something else, I can't remember what it is, but I know it's policing, adult social care, and there's something to do with the council. Oh, my son's going to wake up. Are you sure? I can hear him waking. So what I'm basically saying, because I might have to go in a minute, is government have to abolish parties. Whoever gets in has to turn around and go, abolishment of parties. Now we're going to put people into positions. But it should just be like a normal job. You know, like take, what's his name, a Virgin, Richard Branson, who likes to look up women's skirts with his glass thing on his floor, and let's not go there. But at the end of the day, he runs Virgin. He is the director of Virgin. Then he has his main people, then he has his managers, and then he has the people in position. And that's pretty much what we should be doing here. Head of transportation. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be about parties. You're just head of transportation. They're head of the NHS. They're head of the education system. They're head of social care. Every single person who is running for parties should have a manifestation for every single area. 200 police. Why? And rather than putting your money into 200 police, when you put your money into coaching 200 youth, to coach 200 youth, that's not enough, but you could probably actually coach 2 million on that. So if they turned around and said, right, we're actually going to put coaches into every school, every university, everything, and we shouldn't even have this level of school. And also, if people want to roam, we should have roamers. We can roam. If you want to go and flit around and move, you should be able to do that. Exactly the same with your doctors, yeah? Or even if you are away and you go and see a doctor in another area, we should be looked at as a whole. But the problem is we are broken down into councils, and those councils only deal with those areas, and it shouldn't be like that, because Kitty, who's in Cornwall, has got different services from me here in Portsmouth. You know, where I was in Preston, we had kids carers, a service that was set up to support parents that, you know, they went and took the kids out to give the kids a break because they were kids carers, but they don't have this here. So there should be a core standard. Every place has a sports centre. Every place has, you know, farms and fruit and veg and all of that sort of stuff. Every single area should have the basic fundamental needs built for everybody. It should be bog standard, absolutely bog standard. There's lots of things they could be doing, lots of things. The problem with this country is they deal with the weeds, not the root. And for as long as people are spraying the weeds, they're going to keep coming back. And we got to rip the core of that out. And that core is to get rid of the greed, is to get rid of the corruption, is to get rid of the fucking paedophilia circle, all of that crap that comes with it, and have a zero tolerance to it. And yes, we're going to need some form of place where people can't get out because they're a danger to society. Hello, you. But people should have the right. Hello. Fluffy hair. You coming to say hello? No? Mummy's going to finish up then, John Cuddle. You didn't sleep long, did you? It's a bit late now. You know, even somebody wrote that children go to bed at 7:30. And children should do this. Hello, I got both of you now, have I? Here he comes. But basically, your MP doesn't know you, doesn't give a shit about you, doesn't care about you, doesn't give a damn whether you've had your children taken, whether you need help. The people who are meant to care are the social workers. That's their job, to care, to make sure that... Mummy! Yes, darling, you don't want to go on camera, it's fine. Yeah. Absolute fluffy hair, they need their hair cut. But anyway, guys, I will be on tomorrow because obviously it's the anniversary of Aaron and Faith being taken, and I'm going to use the emotions of how I felt about what happened to talk about the consequences of taking people's children. Put the blanket over you, dude. Mommy. And talk about how difficult it's been to deal with the removal and Aaron and Faith being taken, and how it's been since, and how difficult it is to get your life back. You don't. It doesn't matter. You don't move on from it. You don't. It's I've always said it's not like a death. You don't get to bury your children. Our children are still out there. If I had my own way and I had petrol, because my car's due for MOT, I'd love to get in the car and go and do a video down at Save the Family and where Aaron and Faith were taken, and put my energy into maybe having a bit of a drive round and seeing if I could find them. But I'm not paid until the 18th, and unfortunately it's Christmas, so I don't really have the budget to do that. But I would love to drive up to Save the Family tonight or tomorrow and go and do that there. And it's also my dad's birthday tomorrow. And obviously I'm not going around to my dad's, even though he's only up the road in Alton. So yeah, a vote of no confidence from me as always. If I don't vote, then obviously that vote goes to Stephen. He's all right. So, but literally what I want to say to you guys who have had their kids taken is, whoever gets in your area, the moment they get in, please write them an email. Please introduce yourself to them, congratulate them for coming in, and then tell them who you are, what's happened to you, and the fact that you want to find out how many other people in your area, if they could do that, to see what a mass problem this is, and start pushing. That literally, if we can all start pushing the moment they're elected, the moment they're in, if we can all start literally getting onto these MPs and going, you know, come on, people need help, like real help. Taking children is not the answer. Removing children from people is not the answer. And if we actually did have these proper services in these areas, there is no reason to take anybody's child unless it's actually criminal, and therefore they should be taken to the criminal courts. Because literally you could get a parent to agree to getting up in the morning, coming down to the children's centre, being at the children's centre. We could have out places where people just come down for the day to learn to read to their children, to make sure, you know, that they're getting all of the way that Sure Start should have been, because all the money's been taken out of that. And that's what I'm saying about these core things disappearing, to make life harder and harder and harder and harder. And I'll be very, 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 very surprised if there isn't going to be more and more massive cuts to the welfare system soon. So let's see, guys. It's the 12th today. The vote comes in today. I can't remember what the next date is. I need to have a look at the calendar. But these guys will all break for Christmas, and then we'll come back. I think it's the 3rd or the 7th of January. I think they come back. And then they are preparing obviously for the April tax year. And that's it. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say today, really. So if you are feeling depressed, remember, it just your body's way of telling you that you're not getting up doing what you love, and you're in a resistant living. and also a lot of blame, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, and we need to deal with that. So we should have counsellors, we should have family therapy, but it shouldn't be about report writing and then taking the power away from that family. It should just be about constantly helping them. And if people have a bad day, they have a bad day, and there should be a way of dealing with that. You know, parents should have greater relationships with the schools. We shouldn't just be dumping our children off into schools and saying, how was your day? We should know exactly what education is going on with our children. What are they teaching us? If we don't want this sex education that's going on, then we the people have to stand up and say no. And it works. It does work. Yes, there's an agenda, but at the end of the day, they want us quiet. They don't want us getting involved. They just want the right people doing things, and everybody has to step in and conform. And it doesn't need to work that way, because we are voices. We are the commanders of our own lives. We are the captains of our own ships, and we make our own decisions and our own choices. And we do need an exchange between us in some way for people to do things, because it doesn't always work off the kindness of people's hearts. It's like, I've had somebody who's homeless on the streets message me about an item that I've got for sale, and I would love to turn around and say, look, I'll drop it off to you, you can gift it, but I need money, and that is really difficult. So that should be on their manifesto as well, to make sure that every single person knows how to manage money. You know, every single person has the basic fundamentals and tools. That should be their basic things. Like I said, the jobs of the MPs is to make sure that everybody in their constituency is happy, healthy, and thriving. If they are not happy, healthy, and thriving, they are not doing their job. It's exactly the same as social care. Social care want children to be happy, healthy, and thriving. Moving a child from their parents does not make them happy. It doesn't make them thrive. And it certainly causes disease. So, yeah. And on a quick note before I go, I don't really know what's going on actually, but on a quick one, I just want to say to the people out there who are still doing stuff, who are getting out there, you know, well done, hats off. Look at the frackers, look at the fracking campers, yeah. And the reason that I've always put XR out there is not because I've been in support, because obviously I do understand what's going on with the worldwide order and bringing in this army thing on us. So I do get that. What I was saying with it is watch how they're doing it. Now, lots of frackers have gone to prison. People have shut themselves to gates. People have dominated that area, but they won. I've been on quite a few camping sites, but when you got kids, and I always had my older kids, so I used to go up and visit, but I didn't used to stay. And the same with Aaron and Faith. I stayed after Aaron and Faith were taken, but not before, but they achieved it. Whatever you think of XR, they're achieving getting the message out. And it's going to take for us to go to that extreme to be able to do the same. But what I will say is, if we actually did have a proper collective of people who were strategically doing this in the same sort of strategy that XR have taken, we could be the next, you know, stop fracking our kids. You know what I mean? People do win. Nobody ever thought the fracking would ever stop in this country. It's stopped. There is no fracking in this country anymore. It's all got to go. That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of people now sitting at home going, I've been fired. I don't have a job. I've got to go and get another job. Every person at some point in their life ends up in that situation. Every single person is all going through something. Every single person is all struggling with something. Every single person is trying to overcome something. Every single person is dealing with some form of loss. Every single person is dealing with, how can I pay for this bill? How can I do this? Every single person wants something that they don't have. But the illusion that we can't be free is because of these rules and regulations that we have around us. Nobody wants to commit crime, really. Who, you know, did Dean want to go nick a pork pie when he was a kid and go to prison? No, he just wanted food. You know, no child of Dean's age, he was out on the streets from like 13, but on and off from 7, running away really, but running away from foster care and on the streets. He was on the streets full time up until he had his first child at 18. So, you know, we should have something in each area. What is wrong with each area having like a hotel-based place where if you do find yourself in this situation, you come in, you're given a room, the housing benefit is paid, you go through a program that helps you, you leave from that place to what it is that your life is going on. We wouldn't need all these issues, you know. So what? Like, take with Graham. Graham's not allowed to go to any of the churches or any of the things because he drinks. It should be, Graham, you had a drink today. Come in, mate. It was like a coffee. Or some fruit. And some water. Not been easy today, is it not? It's when he's happy. He drinks when he's happy. He drinks when things are good. He celebrates. But this way that they're dealing with it, to now dump him. You've chewed another teat. Has another teat gone? Seriously, £4 fucking teats. So anyway, guys, I'm going to shoot off because my little ones need me, and this one's going back to sleep on me. But, you know, there's not a lot of people out there that do have quality relationships with their families and things like that, and people are alone. And it shouldn't be about foster carers helping people out. It should be about communities. And if we were out there, you know, actually getting our MPs to work for us, we would find that we do have community, and there is community, and there is people around. But the trouble with that is, who do you trust? And we want to keep these little ones safe, don't we? So at the end of the day, there should be help out there for people who worry about whether they want to raise their hand to their child, or whether they're getting frustrated, or whether or not the money pressures are too much and your kids are asking you things for Christmas and you just want to tell them to shut up. And even for people who are worried that they have sexual intentions towards a child, there should be somewhere they can go and say, I feel this way, help me. We don't have this. Couples can't get help who argue and fight. You know, it's all upside down. So at the end of the day, without them doing what they're going to do, you know, we're just going to carry on going around the same problems, same life, same shit. It's not going to change. Unfortunately, it's going to get bigger and harder and faster with XR. What I would say to parents is infiltrate it. And then on the day when all the media is there, get your jumper on. Because they will never allow another banner or a poster on their site. So maybe it's something that we all need to infiltrate into, because it's going to happen anyway. So, you know, we may as well push things a little bit forward. So maybe rather than the XR banner, which was stolen from RX anyway. But yeah. Anyway, my one's gone back to sleep, bless him, and one's down there. Can you say hello? No, it's gone all shy. They desperately need their haircut. I need my haircut. So anyway, guys, as you know, I'm locking down over the winter, over Christmas. So as from tomorrow, once I do my live, I'll probably see you over Christmas, and then I'll see you in January. Because I'm literally going to be writing from tomorrow. Because I want to be in the moment of how I felt sliding down that wall, screaming, knowing that my kids had been taken. And I want to use that energy and get a very strong message out there, and it will be directly to social workers tomorrow, that the moment you take that baby, you've just destroyed someone's life, and they need to understand the consequences of their actions. It's going to be a very emotional one tomorrow, guys. So I shall see you tomorrow. Have a really, really, really lovely day, and I shall catch you all soon. And now I can't get off because something's just come up on my thing, the Daily Mail. Oh, I've got something coming now. There we go. So have a great day. And just remember, guys, focus on what you love and don't live in the resistance of what they've got you doing. And if you are out there campaigning, take time out, guys. You can't do it 24/7. It's too much. It's too draining. You need to go out there and do things that you love. Get to the gym if you need to get to the gym. Go for running. Go down to the sea. You know, go see some sunrise, sunsets. Do some painting. Do some arts. Don't let them take your joy away. They took our kids. Don't let them take our souls, all right? See you later. And it's so nice to see you, Kitty. And I'll catch up with you all soon. Take care.